On behalf of Study Smart, I warmly welcome each one of you for sparing your valuable time to attend this webinar. It has been our endeavor to bring to you the latest current news that is happening on COVID-19 and on your study abroad plans. We have left no stone unturned to get you the latest and updated news. And today, in this webinar, we will try and answer all your questions as well as clear all your apprehensions that you have. I would request each one of you to be tuned in to get more, because we have a panel discussion and we have industry experts joining in a little later to answer all your questions and queries. To begin with, I would give you a little overview about who we are and what Study Smart does. My name is Jacinta Matthews, and I am a part of the Study Smart team. Study Smart has been in this business for the last 10 years. We are a premium overseas education consulting firm, and we offer best in the class personalized guiding and counseling for our students who wish or aspire to study abroad. We cater to various countries, mainly USA, UK, Germany, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Singapore, Malaysia, and many more. We do have counseling offices in India, and our offices are located in Delhi, Gurgaon, Pune, Thane, and Surat. We have support offices in London and Auckland for our international students. We provide offline, online coaching, as well as now in this situation, we are using technology to our fullest, and we do counseling via Zoom. We are accredited with British Council for our education for UK, for IELTS as well as Pearson. We are also partners and accredited with Education New Zealand and Education Ireland. We are members of the Society of Education Consultants UK, as well as Association of Australia representing in India. We are one of the premier institute and topmost in providing trainings for IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE, and we have trained close to 1,200 students every year, and the number is ticking. For both the academic students who wish to study abroad, as well as students who wish to migrate to different countries. We have placed over 5,000 people across 12 countries. Our services include, we do counseling for all our students who aspire to go abroad. So we have a very well counseling team that takes care of the counseling. So our overseas education counseling and expert team helps you in every single step of your aspiration or your dreams for study abroad. Universities and selection of countries and universities are done on the basis of students' profile and requirement. We do a thorough profiling and mapping for our career orientation and industry integration courses. We are happy to share that we give every guidance on the admission process, from your application deadlines to your SOPs, to your reference letters, from end to end, from the time you get associated with Study Smart till the time you reach to your respective destination. I do understand that a lot of students look forward for scholarships. So yes, we do assist you, and we give you a specialized, we have a specialized cell that helps you with your scholarship requirement. We also assist you with your finances, that if you are wanting to take a loan from any of the public sector banks, so we do introduce you to that team as well. Our services also include visa documentation and counseling with expert guidance from former High Commission staff. While you are preparing with your application and you're getting ready to go to the country of your dream, we also help you with your pre-departure service like flight tickets, currency exchange, insurance, which is very, very critical and important. We also help you with post-departure support, accommodation, part-time jobs. We have a good network of students who can assist you with that when you reach to your destination. We have an access, just like I mentioned, the network of 1,500 plus alumni for your on-site support. So when you reach there, somebody from our family, that is the Study Smart family, will definitely take care of you in a country which is unknown to you. Post-landing support available through our offices in London and Auckland. So these are some of our major services that we provide to our students. Now I have somebody very important and eminent who has been an entrepreneur and whose dream is to make sure that every student who dreams and aspires to go abroad or overseas for their further studies a reality. None other than I would like to present you Mr. Chetan Jain, who is a dynamic personality and who has put Study Smart together to help you in your endeavor, in your journey to your overseas education. Chetan Jain has been a very, very influential person where study abroad is concerned. And he has also completed his MBA from UK. He has completed his MBA from the prestigious UK university and has worked with international admissions as a manager with various British universities like LSE Group of Colleges, University of Chester, and Anglia Ruskin University. Like I mentioned earlier, he has a vision to help every Indian student across the country to achieve their dream of studying abroad. Over to you, Chetan.
Thanks, Jacinta, for that lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all the students who've joined in today. I can see a lot of familiar names in the attendance list, students who've already been in touch with us and have been applying through us, plus a lot of new names that I'm seeing today, right? So I'm going to try and keep this, my section a little short so that we move quickly towards the panel discussion where we have some eminent guests who will be joining us. What we have tried to do today is that we have done a detailed analysis of the current situation in various countries, and we've tried to provide some kind of a risk assessment of these countries. How risky are they in terms of you wanting to go there? And we've also tried to measure what their economic impact of COVID-19 is there on these countries, and how quickly can they recover from this crisis and their economy can be back on track, so that when you go to study there, you also have enough job opportunities. Right? We've been in touch with various government agencies. We've been speaking to various universities, various bodies to gather the information and then try and present to you some numbers and some statistics which will help you make the right decision. Right? So let's move ahead. The first country I would like to talk about. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my presentation right. Right, the first country on our list is Australia, where the risk assessment is low. They have come down to as low as 5 cases on an average. They're pretty much back to normal life. Almost everything is pretty much open in a majority of the parts of Australia, right? And they are looking very, very strong to have a regular February or a regular November intake. So the next intake that we are anticipating is November, where some universities may offer some courses for November, but their major intake would be February 21. So we see it as one of the low risk countries in terms of students wanting to study there. We also see the economic recovery happening immediately because the impact has been very minimal. And I think as an economy, they are already pretty much back on track for recovery. So Australia could be an attractive destination for most students because it's pretty much back to business, right? So that's as far as Australia is concerned. The next country we've done some assessment for is New Zealand. They were the first ones to get rid of the coronavirus. They're pretty much down to 0 cases now. They've not been in a lockdown for almost 3 to 4 weeks. Pretty much everything is back to normal, barring a few schools and colleges which are not open yet. Though they are not keen on doing the July intake, we've been told that the October intake is happening for sure. And though October is not a regular intake for them, the February 21 intake would be a regular full-fledged intake where you'll have all the possible courses available. A very important point that most of these countries, as of today, require you to be in a 14-day self-isolation when you arrive in the country. But we believe that this will also change over a period of time, and they would relax these kind of criteria of self-isolation as well. Right. So economic recovery also for New Zealand, because they've taken the least impact and they were so quick to recover. I believe the economic recovery is going to be immediate. Right. Another one which we have assessed as a low risk country is Ireland. It's down to only 12 cases on a daily basis now, and I believe they will get rid of. They'll come down to 0 very, very quickly. Pretty much everything is open: bars, restaurants, public transport. Everything is pretty much open. As of now, they're not allowing international travel, but they've been very clear that the international travel for students who want to come in September will be allowed. In fact, their VFS is expected to start taking applications for student visas from 6th of July. So from Monday, students can take an appointment and apply for the visa as well. So they're pretty much back in business. Majority of the colleges and universities in Ireland are planning to do physical classes. So there's no real harm that will happen to the students in terms of the experience as well. The next intake you can obviously target is the September 20 intake, but there are a few colleges that also have a January 21 intake, so you could always look at that as well. Right, next in line is UK. Though the numbers are slightly higher compared to some of the countries, that's why we put it on a moderate risk and not a low risk. They're still getting about 900 cases on a daily basis, but there have been occasions when they've come down to double digits as well. And do bear in mind that UK has one of the best national health, public health systems in the world, right? So in terms of their ability to treat people, their ability to provide the kind of facilities that students want, they're top notch in that sense. Again, a big day today for UK. They have opened up everything. They've opened up bars, restaurants, public transport is back on. Schools and colleges are expected to open soon. The universities are very keen on doing the September intake, so they're gearing up to welcome the students and ensure that they're taking all kinds of steps from their side to maximize students' safety. As of now, the self-isolation is there for Indian students. Recently, they announced that they have lifted the self-isolation requirement for 56 countries. So students traveling from 56 countries don't need to self-isolate themselves for 14 days. As we move closer to September, we believe this could also get relaxed for UK as well. The next available intake is the September 20, but we are seeing a lot of universities are also offering a January 20 intake with a wide variety of courses, which is typically not the case, right? So a lot of students who are not very comfortable to go for the September 20 can also always look at deferring their application to the January 21 intake. Right, moving on, Germany also remains on a moderate risk. Again, they've come down to around 400 cases on an average. A lot of appreciation has been given to the Prime Minister of Germany for the way they tackled the situation. They were among the highest at one point of time in terms of the number of infections, but they've done a fabulous job in controlling it. Again, it remains an attractive destination, though we are not very sure whether the September intake will happen. A lot of universities are not planning to do the September intake, or they're planning to do it on a blended mode or an online mode, which is something we personally don't recommend, right? And so that's why we're saying the next available intake could be the February intake, February 21 intake. And even on the economic recovery front, we see it as a short term. So by the time students graduate, the economy should be good and job ability should be there. Right, coming to Canada, we are placing it on a moderate to high risk, not so much from the COVID standpoint, but from the economic recovery standpoint. So the Canadian economy relies very, very heavily on the US economy. And currently with US economy being in shambles and they being one of the countries that's been hardest hit by this pandemic, we believe Canada will also see some kind of effects of that. Canada is one of the countries that is not very keen on taking students for September. They've not even announced when their VFSs will open. And they've been pushing students to do the first semester online, that is the September semester online, and then start their main classes from January. So as the situation changes, we will obviously update you on that. Currently, they're not even allowing international visitors or students to come into the country. So it's an absolute no-no right now, and we're not quite sure when they plan to open up their borders. They've been postponing it every month now, right? So yeah, we would update you on the situation as the situation evolves. But as of now, we would put it on a moderate to high risk. Right. Last but not the least, USA. Again, I mean the numbers speak stories here. So 53,000 cases is the average that they are at right now, and they've been very badly hit. Though they're not in an official lockdown, many of the places are functioning and open. We believe the economic slowdown will have a massive impact, and for that reason, we've kept USA in a high risk and a long-term recovery kind of an option. Also very important that US remains the most expensive destination to study. So when you're spending that kind of money and the recovery chances are limited, it's best to maybe look at other countries or look at better options that are there. Right, that's pretty much it in terms of the overall risk assessment of various countries. This has been done in basis of some of the analysis we've been doing and the data we've been gathering from various agencies. Obviously, choosing a country is a very personal choice of the student, but I would recommend that you target countries which are low risk, in both in terms of the current COVID situation also and in terms of the economic recovery as well. Because when you're spending so much money, it's important that you go there and get to work there for a few years to gain important work experience and at the same time recover some of your investment, right? Well, then we'll move on to the next section. Jacinta, back to you.
Thank you, Chetan. Okay, so now we have the panel discussion, and I would like to introduce you to two very influential and eminent personalities who will help you understand as well as answer most of your questions and queries regarding the situation today. Andrew Fraser, he's an international recruitment manager, Southeast Asia.
To left.
He works with Kingston University, UK, has over 10 years of experience with the higher education sector in UK, occupying various professional roles. He has worked in international development and student recruitment for over 3 years, specializing in the Southeast Asia region. So Andrew, please, we welcome you onto this panel discussion. The second person that I would like to introduce you to is Divya Malhotra, Account Manager Education, UK Visas and Immigration. She too has been associated with UKVI for over 5 years at the British Embassy in India. Her role is to manage UKVI relationship with key stakeholders and partners in education sector. The objective is very clear, is to support, improve and innovate UKVI services offerings and to promote effectively and efficiently in your visa processing. Last but not the least, we've already met Chetan Jain, Director of Study Smart Overseas Education as well as IELTS training. These three people will answer all your questions. First, we will address some questions to them, and later on, we will definitely have some questions from yours as well. All right, so are you all ready? Chetan, Andrew, are you all ready?
Yeah, Jacinta, go ahead.
Oh, great. So this question is for Andrew. Since you're based in UK, can you give us a sense of the atmosphere right there, right now? What is the day-to-day life like in UK?
Well, today is a key day, as seen in Chetan's presentation, because now we have restaurants, cinemas, attractions, hairdressers open today. So lockdown is well and truly over in terms of the lockdown situation. What we are seeing, and we've seen a localized lockdown in Leicester, which I think is good news, because I would hate for it to be a national lockdown again. I'm very cautiously optimistic about how things are developing, and I can share from personal experience being out shopping that it feels almost like pre-COVID-19. So it's a good atmosphere right now in the UK.
Well, that's good news. Thank you so much. The next question, which bothers a lot of the students, is: do you see things changing and life coming back to normal for the students?
I 100% do, and I think people are talking about the next normal. And I think what that means is because people have got used to using online platforms and facilities. So actually, I think there's going to be a lot more flexibility within the economy. You know, there are still a lot of vacancies in the UK, and what that will mean for students who want to work part-time is that lots of companies are now getting used to delivering services and support online. So I am cautiously optimistic, and I'm optimistic in the sense of the government's strategy of trying to get the economy back and running, which it is, and its strategy around localized lockdown. Obviously, we can't talk about, you know, the winter time, but that's why I'm cautiously optimistic, because at the moment things are moving along very well.
That's wonderful.
Just
Do you
to
think it's
add on
safe?
that front,
Yes.
just to add on what Andrew said, that there's a lot of effort. I've been speaking to many other universities as well. There's a lot of effort the universities are putting in to ensure that the student experience is not hampered in any ways. So even though they might reduce some classes and take some certain actions, student experience is the top priority for most universities right now.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful, and I think that's what the students are looking forward to as well. Do you think it's safe for students to come to UK in the September 20 intake?
Well, following on from what Chetan was saying, I do, because we have the resources to ensure student safety, and actually it's student safety that comes first. That's our priority. And as Chetan has mentioned, the UK healthcare system is renowned globally. I don't want to be so boastful to say it's the best in the world, but I mean, the fact of the matter is that our healthcare system was not overwhelmed when we hit the peak. We had spare beds. So in terms of your safety coming to the UK, you will have access to our free healthcare service. So we are, as UK universities, putting measures in place to ensure your safety.
Just to add to that as well, it's important that the students should know that the insurance that they take, the IHS also will cover any kind of treatment they need to go through on the COVID front. So if they were to get infected for any reason, their treatment would be covered under insurance. So they're completely insured in that sense.
That's great. Another question would be around the self-isolation. So when the student arrives in UK, what kind of support can they expect from the university?
Well, absolutely. And I think that, we're only at the beginning of July, so it could be by September that India will be a country where there will have to be self-isolation. I can speak from Kingston's point of view. What we're offering is an airport pickup service and what's been described as a concierge service. And this will be typical from many universities. And what that means, for that 14-day period, you will have, there will be members of the university that will help you with any food deliveries, any other items that you need to be comfortable in your stay. And again, you'll be part of the campus community. So although you will have to be in self-isolation, we will make sure that that 14-day period is as comfortable as it can be.
All right, that's nice. Another thing that definitely bothers the student is what will be the impact on the overall student experience compared to the pre-COVID times?
Well, I think there's no doubt that their activities will be restricted somewhat, and that is in terms of to comply with social distancing. So I'm not going to pretend it's going to be exactly the same in September. And this is to ensure that if there is another second wave, that we can deal with it there and then very quickly. And so we will still have, the campus will be open. There will still be activities. As I said, lockdown has pretty much ended in the UK. But to ensure social distancing, there will be a slight restriction on capacity, how many students would be able to access certain venues. So that's it really. But apart from that, what I'm excited about is the new opportunities that these restrictions have meant, and that in terms of flexibility. So actually, many students who are looking for part-time work will may be able to do some work in the comfort of their own home. So there are some actual benefits of these restrictions.
All right, that's nice. Will physical classes be conducted?
Well, I can say from Kingston's point of view, and from many, that yes, there will be. To comply with social distancing, there will be a reduction in how many classes will be available. The idea and the hope is that this will affect the first term. So that means for classes that have practical application, engineering, art and design, yes, there will be physical classes and there will be seminars. Also, we're not offering online degrees, so you will still have access to lecturers, career coaches, and the libraries. So although there may be some online classes to supplement the fact that we will have to have less capacity for social distancing, there will still be that overall experience that you'll gain. And remember that our lecturers and tutors, even if there is a class online, you will still be able to access support from them, either by a meeting like this or a physical meeting.
Oh, that's great news. All right. Now, another question that I would like to ask you is, from the student standpoint, is what if students face any financial hardship during their studies? Is there any support from the university?
Absolutely. We've universities for a long time have supported students in hardship, so both home students and international students. I can speak from my perspective that we have a hardship fund, which means that we invite international students to make that application. And there are so many charities. For example, I'm a proud vegetarian, and there are many charities that support students accessing certain foods. Now that hasn't really been a case for Kingston, because many students are still able to have their part-time job and have the support there. But that's just one example, that there are many opportunities and facilities to help students who are in temporary hardship.
All right.
Just to
That
solves,
yes.
For everyone's benefit. So during the lockdown period, I was in touch with a lot of students of mine who were already in the UK, and I'm talking in general with various universities here. A lot of them were given certain allowances from the university because they were not having a part-time job, or because their parents were not able to send money because the banks were closed. They could not go to the bank to get money even if they had the money, right? So there were certain allowances that were given by universities. So some universities were giving regular food packs to students, so that some universities were giving a grocery supply to the students. So there was various kinds of support that was given to the students, and obviously the universities were digging into their hardship funds for this. And I believe, I have every reason to believe, that the university will continue to do so even in the future.
Wonderful. That's nice. Last question, Andrew. Are there any initiatives that universities are taking to ensure that the overall student experience is good in the current situation?
Absolutely, and as already mentioned, I think we really care about student safety and student experience. So student safety comes first. So we have, as mentioned, an airport pickup service to help you get to your halls of residence where you'll be staying. If you will need to be in self-isolation for 14 days, offering a concierge service so that you do not have to worry about any items that you need during that period. And again, what I would really encourage students to do is really speak out, and if there are any concerns, is to ask. And certainly from my point of view, I have students and I can signpost them to the relevant support. There is so much student support from UK universities. So it's really important for international students to identify any areas that they need support with, because the chances are the support is there right in front of them. They just need to ask for that support.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for your insight. And I'm sure the questions that you have answered would definitely help all the students to clear up a lot of cloud, which they, for so many months, they've been apprehensive about. Thank you once again, Andrew. All right, moving over to Divya. And like I mentioned, Divya would answer a lot of questions related to your visas and things like that. So Divya, my first question to you is, we have information VFS will start accepting new applications from 6th July. Can you confirm this news, please?
Yes, sure. And thank you for having me today for the webinar, first of all. Yes, that's correct. So VFS will be resuming its services from 6th of July. So as the global travel and work health restrictions have begun to lift, so we are resuming these services. So initially, we'll be returning those passports which were held with us during the lockdown. So our priority will be to return those passports. And we're opening those visa centers only where the local government restrictions allow us. So there are 10 to 11 centers that we have opened in India, that will be opening in India effective 6th of July. And this will be with all the COVID protocols. So that is, the students can expect to follow all the protocols, like covering their mouth, sanitizing their hands, and the visit to the visa application center will not be allowed without prior appointment. So there we are opening the centers wherever we feel it's safe and it protects the customers as well as the staff of these application centers.
Great, that's nice to know. Thank you so much. What will be the typical visa processing time? Will the fast track services resume anytime soon?
Well, the typical one is, the 15 working days, the standard service time that we have. However, the coronavirus has had a significant impact in all the services of UK visas. So, though we aim to assess all the applications within standard service time of 15 working days, however, the students can expect a little delay initially while we restart our operations. And as I mentioned, there will be fewer appointments initially because we'll be following all the protocols. So the standard service time would be 15 working days only. Please note that we are not offering any priority service, super priority service, or walk-in services initially. However, whenever we feel that we will be able to commit and effectively provide, our services within priority, that is 5 working days or 24 hours, whenever we are confident, we'll start those services again. Our main focus right now is to provide our services safely and securely to all the applicants and the students.
Divya, just one more thing on the same note. Do you anticipate a restriction on the number of applications that you'll be taking in a day? Because I know some of the other VFSs that are operating are limiting or capping the number of applications per day. Is there some similar cap for UK as well?
There could be. We haven't decided on the cap, but yes, as I mentioned, because there will be protocols followed, so you can expect less number of applications. Last year we were accepting, let's say in Delhi Vac Center, we were accepting 2,000 to 2,500 applications per day, but that might not be a scenario right now in the given circumstances. There will be limited appointments because we need to maintain social distancing as well. So this will delay the services a little bit, but we don't have the exact number as of now. However, since we are done with our peak season of visits, which we never had, but the students, we are making sure the students are able to apply well on time. They have enough time left now if they are to travel in September intake, or if not September, then January. So yes, I think we have enough time to apply for their applications for visa.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, great. Another question to you, Divya. Can you update us on the current student visa requirements, please?
Yeah, sure. The requirements remains the same as the last year. There are no any changes in the requirements. So the documents that we look for is the CAS letter, which is the confirmation of acceptance of studies from the university. So which is the unconditional letter issued by the university to the student to confirm their admission. So that's one of the priority requirement. The other one is the all the document listed in the CAS by the university. If the university has listed any academic documents in the CAS letter of the students, so students need to make sure that they submit those documents as well. The third one is the funds requirement. So they need to show the maintenance fund in their bank account and as per the university that they have applied for. So there is a different amount for a university in London and outside London. So they need to show appropriate funds in their account. This can be shown either through their savings account, through the fixed deposits, or it could be through an education loan, or could be a scholarship letter as well. The fourth one comes is the tuberculosis test. So that's also the requirement that we have for Indian nationals.
Okay, that was something very important. Thank you for touching on that.
Yeah.
The next question that I would like to ask is, any COVID-related tests required?
Well, there is no specific COVID COVID test that we are asking for right now. However, as Andrew mentioned, as per current scenario, there is a self-isolation requirement of 14 days when students arrive in UK or any traveler arrives in UK. So that's as per current scenario. However, we suggest students to check closer to the date of the travel. The situation might change of self-isolation dates. So but we're not asking for any COVID test as of now. As I mentioned, tuberculosis test is a mandatory requirement for all the Indian national. It has to be done in the approved UKVI approved medical center, and it's the TB test certificate that we need to see, not the scan or an X-ray. But no, we're not asking for the COVID test. However, if students do develop any symptoms of COVID, we strongly recommend to avoid the travel. And because there will be tests at various stages. There will be tests at the airport, by the airlines, at the UK border. So if they are showing any symptoms, they might be restricted to board the flight or travel as well. So we do suggest to avoid the travel if they are seeing any symptoms of the coronavirus.
Jacinta, are you there? I think she's facing some connection issues. I'll take it ahead from your web. So one more question that I believe would be on every student's mind is, what happens to the post-study work visa? We believe it still is going to remain, not remain. What's your take on that?
Yes, sure. So that's one of the most talked about topic that we've been discussing in every webinars and the lives these days. So yes, the graduate route, which is we call as post-study work, is very much happening. It's as we announced it earlier by Home Office, and there are no changes to it. It will happen. It will be launched in summer of 2021. Which means all students graduating in summer 2021 or after will be eligible to apply for this graduate route. So what is this graduate route? This is your 2 years post-study work visa, where students will be able to work, look for work, and study further as well. During this period, they can also switch to tier 4 skilled visa if they are able to secure a tier 2 skilled job within those 2 years. But this is a non-extendable route, so that is, it is only for 2 years. It cannot be extended, and also it is not the settlement route, so it does not accrue any settlement rights. So the settlement rights are only from the tier 2 visa, not from the tier 4 graduate route visa. However, there are also certain very important updates announced by the Home Office recently, which is also again a lot of queries that we've been receiving from the students, because as Andrew also mentioned, universities are offering online and blended courses as well. So the this was never allowed for tier 4 full-time studies. The blended studies or distance learning was never allowed earlier. However, for the academic year 2020 and 21, so Home Office has approved that the students can go for the blended course or an online course, provided they intend to transition to face-to-face course whenever the circumstances allow. And they will also be eligible for the graduate route if they're going for the blended course, provided they arrive in UK before 6th of April 2021. So that's one of the conditions. It gives enough time to the students to apply for the visa as well, because they do not need to apply for a visa if they are traveling in January or maybe February. So they will apply only before their travel. And also, we are assuming the situations and the circumstances which will be much better much before April, but they have time till April 6th.
Okay. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yeah,
Yes.
Jacinda.
Yeah, okay. So I think that was the last question, Divya. And thank you so much for shedding light on all the processes. And I think our students will be in a better position to understand that what needs to be done for their study abroad plan. All right. Now,
Thank you very much.
yeah, welcome. Moving on, we have questions from our students, and I would address these questions to all three of you all. The first question,
Before we take
yes,
the questions, can we
yes,
just give some recommendations to students from our side as to what our recommendations are and what they should be doing? So I
yeah,
thought we
sure,
can run that first and then take the questions at the last segment. So
sure.
Andrew and Divya, just bear with me for 2 minutes. I'll just quickly run through some recommendations that we want to give to students that are attending today, and then we can take the questions. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen for this. Right. So some recommendations that we would like to give students from our side. Firstly, do continue with your application process if you have started your application process, especially for low to medium risk countries. We genuinely believe that there is a good opportunity for you to start your studies in September or January 21, depending on the country you select. Right. If you've got an offer from your desired university, don't let go of that opportunity. Accept that offer. Make the deposit payment, and you can always have the flexibility to defer to the next intake if you feel that you're not very comfortable traveling right away. So say, for example, if you're holding an offer for September 20 for a university or a course of your choice, I would recommend make the deposit payment. And when you get closer to September, say maybe by July, August, if you feel that no, you're still not sure whether you want to travel in September and you want to wait longer, you can defer your admission to January 21 or even September 21. If you pay your deposit and then defer your admission, you won't have to go through the admission process all over again. So your seat is reserved, your admission is pretty much confirmed. It's just that you're changing your start date from an X date to a Y date. So if you're holding an offer of your choice, do pay off the deposit. What we also anticipate is a lot of rush for January, because we're seeing more and more students that are inquiring, students who had dropped their plans are again planning to start the process. So we believe January intake could see a lot of rush, and the sooner you accept your offer, the better it is for you. Be positive. These Western countries like UK, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, they're all very well equipped to handle any crisis. Much better equipped than our own country, unfortunately, is. Right? And look how the tables have turned. Right? 2 months ago, the numbers in India were under control, and these countries were exploding. But now it's the other way around. These countries have managed to control it to a great extent. Some of them went the herd immunity way, let people get infected and develop immunity, right? And things are looking very scary in India right now. The numbers are only increasing. We all are seeing the news on a daily basis. And what I would like to advise to students is that you would probably be safer in countries which have a good respect for law and order, where people will follow social distancing norms. In India, unfortunately, when you go out on the streets, it's a joke right now, social distancing. Nobody is following it, right? So your chances of getting infected is much higher here. We are already, our healthcare system is already stressed. There are not enough beds. So getting treatment is not only expensive, but difficult as well, right? So you're probably safer in these countries because the healthcare systems are much better, and obviously things are far more organized, and people would follow social distancing norms much more stringently than they would in India. Lastly, universities, educational bodies, governments are working very, very hard to ensure that they're putting policies and processes in place to provide maximum support to students and ensure that their experience of studying in a foreign country is as close to as it would have been before the COVID situation, right? So do not deter your plans of studying abroad. It's a dream for a lot of people. So fulfill that dream, and there is no better time than now to do it, because if you were to work in India, getting a job for the next 1 year is going to be challenging, right? So you may have to compromise on the salary, you may have to compromise on the position. So you might as well invest this 1 year in studying, and by the time you graduate, things would be back to normal. Things would be again on the upward trend. So getting a job also would not be challenging, right? That's a strong recommendation from our side. Obviously, if you do have any further queries, where you still are confused whether what you want to do, obviously everyone's priorities and situation would vary. The countries you're targeting could vary, right? So we are happy to give you free personalized one-to-one counseling via Zoom or via any other online platform. You can call this number here to book a one-to-one appointment, where I'm happy to counsel students directly. So you can book an appointment with me. Alternately, we do have our country experts as well. So the country experts would also be in a position to give you more information about particular countries that you're planning to study in. So do reach out to us on these numbers. We are open to take one-to-one counselings and help you arrive to the right decision. Obviously, we respect your concerns, and we respect if you want to drop your plans for this year and look at next year, which is absolutely fine. But we will be happy to address any concerns that you have.